Yo, what is up everyone and welcome back to another YouTube video with your host Kenkukun, and today we got another Destiny 2 video. Now this video is going to be a tier list of supers. A few things to note. One, I'll be switching between the PlayStation through my capture card and my PC screen. So there you may see a delay between my voice and the PlayStation, but between my voice and my the mouse right now you'll see, the Destiny cursor. There will be a delay between this when I'm talking on here. So keep that in mind. I'll try to make sure I'm very clear and I let it take time to register exactly what I'm saying. I don't want to add and remove the delay every time I switch between screens, and I'll probably only switch between screens a few times. Number two, the tier list is my own opinion, like any other tier list out there. It's just an opinion. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it, and you can have your own opinion and set your own list or tier, and feel free to come up with your own points and challenge my tier list by all means. Also, the tier list is going to be based on not only my own experiences playing with and playing against supers, but it'll be also by my teammates as well, because some supers I'm going to be 100% with you I have not played with in quite a while, and it's like I'm going back into the past and just like, oh, I'm reliving the glory of this super and when I use this super and when I use this super. But I'm going to try to keep everything as current as possible so it's relevant to what we're going to do. And it's I think that's all that I have to say on that. So let's go ahead and cover. These are the maps that we've seen in trials. So let's go ahead and cover the maps, and then I'll cover real quick. Let's cover the maps. So we have Altar of Flame. We've seen Altar of Flame numerous times. It comes back. It's never really went away other than one time in the beginning of trials of the 9, back when people could go under the map, right? We haven't seen the anomaly in a long time. So this is a relatively open map, but it's kind of small, like everything clusters into like a small area. I'd probably shape this like a little curve map. This is a small map, close range. Bannerfall we've seen. It's kind of openish, kind of not. The Burnout we've seen multiple times now. It finally made its way back into the rotation. I would say most of this, is small. We've seen Cauldron a few times. I feel like a lot of the map can be controlled from the middle, so I would say, points of engagement are relatively small, but you do have that big open area if you want to call a cliff an open area. It's a straight line, but it's an open area. We've seen Convergence multiple times. That, again, a lot of combat happens in the center right on the screen. We've seen Dead Cliffs a lot. It is a smaller map, but it has more room in the air. Distant Shore we haven't seen for quite some time. Endless Veil haven't seen for quite some time. I want to say it's been a couple of months maybe. Exodus Blue we've seen more times than we want right now. Very small, very narrow map. 5 lanes narrow. Haven't seen that in a long time. Seen that not too long ago. Big open map. A lot of engagements happen in a small area, but big open map even where you engage at. Javelin 4, haven't seen it for a little bit. Smaller map on the smaller side. Midtown, haven't seen that for a little bit. Another kind of narrowish map. Pacifica, you have the option of going inside, outside, and there are places to go outside of the map. Radiant Cliffs, big map. Everything's kind of clustered in the center, but it's a big map. Rusted Lands, a medium-sized map. When I say big and medium, I mean when you're actually out there fighting, the area you're fighting in is either relatively big, medium, or small. Twilight Gap, kind of a medium area where you fight. A lot of clutter all around. And then we have Widow's Court, which we haven't seen in an age, which is very sad. And Wormhaven we haven't seen for a while, as well as a very small, narrow map. Widow's Court, I would say, is a relatively medium-sized map. Now, it's a large map, but a medium-sized map, depending on where you're standing and what you're engaging for the most part. So, with that said, we will base supers off of ease of use in maps. Now, let's go ahead and switch on over to the tier list. All right, so we got the tier list pulled up. Now, just so you know, I understand that some of these icons and names may be a little bit hard on the eyes. I get it, and I apologize. First time making a tier list, and I just went through, made the icons, or grabbed the icons from the internet, put little tags on them, and then I was like, oh, some of these are hard to read, but we're just going to go ahead and bear with it for now. Now I just made the default tier list of D, C, B, A, S. I don't know if we'll use all of them. I know we'll use S through A, B, C, and D. So we're gonna tier this by ease of use and how powerful it is. Now we're gonna base the supers. Now these are the supers specifically, and I tried to, when some supers have different versions of themselves, I do have other icons for them. You'll notice that down here, Arcstrider, there's just Arcstrider. It's 3 variations of Arcstrider, but I didn't think it was, I didn't think it was diverse enough to make the middle tree Arcstrider, which is what a lot of people gravitate towards when they would run Arcstrider, needed its own icon. It's just Arcstrider. You either block with it or you don't. Now, you can argue that maybe it should be separated, but, well, I didn't do it. Make your own tier list. Separate it if you want. But we will talk about, the points when they're separated. So, first and foremost, we're going to put the worst super up on the board. Now, I don't know if it's going to be D, C, B, A, or S, or between D and C. Obviously, the worst super is not making it to S. But we're going to go ahead and put the worst super up on the board, and I'm going to explain why. This one always jumps out at me as the worst super, and that is the Gunslinger. Now, please do not be sad. Please don't tell me, oh, you're wrong. Let me explain this to you. You may be phenomenal with Gunslinger. I've seen very good players with the Gunslinger, but I'm talking strictly on the super side, and we're taking away all of the other subclass, unless the subclass specifically says, like Stormcaller has Transcendence, right? If you have your melee and grenade ready and fully charged, your super will last longer. Now, if you have a Gunslinger and you have a grenade, the grenade doesn't make your gun perform any better. You locking down areas with your grenade doesn't make the golden gun shoot any harder, right? So we're just going to base this strictly on the super itself. Also, if it doesn't really need an exotic to kind of make it shine, that makes the super perform better. And we all know 3 supers out there that don't need any exotics to be really good right now. I don't think there's any, oh no, I'm missing an icon. I don't think there's any, question of which 3 are probably S tier. So, with that said, Gunslinger is the worst super in my opinion. You get 10 seconds to make a choice. You can have 6 bullets. You can have 3 bullets. You have to be, and the reason I say it's the worst, it is powerful. I've seen a lot of good plays by certain people in the community, people that I've played with, people that I've played against, more so that I've played with than play against. It's easy to stay out of line of sight of golden guns. I've also seen people play with golden gun on my team, and they really didn't do too much with it. People would run, hide, and they're like, well, I pop, and they're just all running. Well, of course, it's a golden gun. All they have to do is, wait 10 seconds, get up, stretch, sniff the armpit if they want, and then go back to, aping you, right? So, and any other super will outlast a golden gun is when it comes to how long the super lasts by itself. So, with that said, because the golden gun only has 10 seconds, you either, in my opinion, you have to be either highly aggressive, right? And you're just going in to get kills with no armor and 10 seconds to do it. You're counter popping on a super, which is already a risk at this point. And the only other way is you're playing for an objective, which that means the most important objective when we come to, and we're going to, bring this into the realm of trials and I guess survival, but more trials. The main objective at the end of each round is the overtime plague if it comes down to it. So you have to live long enough to get it, hope they don't have supers to contest. You have to capture half of the flag, I believe, and then your golden gun has to last another 10 seconds while you're capturing the flag. The good news about the golden gun is It just lasts 10 seconds. It doesn't take energy as you shoot it like it used to, I believe. It's been a very long time. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you shoot your shots, right? You can hold one shot and it'll last, the full bar of 10 seconds will pass before that shot is removed from you without you using it. So that is the biggest plus of it, but the fact that it doesn't last as long, in my opinion, is biggest drawback and forces players to play one of three ways. And it's not very friendly. Again, the time constraint is very, very poor, and there's damage drop off on the golden gun. The 6-shooter specifically, I don't remember if the 3-shooter one does with precision. So Gunslinger is at the lowest tier for me. Now, moving above Gunslinger, it's gonna be it's probably going to be between two. We're going to put this at C. This is going to be between two different classes, and I may mix and match. They're not going to be in order. Oh, when he gets to B, are all of these in B? No. Some of these are going to be flip-flopping around, and I'm going to be dropping them as I think about it. So the next two that come to mind are Striker and Arcstrider. I'm going to put them in C. And now a lot of this tier list is based on, we're just going to go ahead and, the elephants in the room. Boom. And pretend there's a third one up here. And now I don't know if Shadebender, the Warlock one, is going to stay at S. It may go down to A. But for now, we're going to just put them up at the board. There's no spoiler. They're the most prevalent and powerful supers in the game, and they're ran the most. And for good reason. Now, again, remember, pretend that the Hunter one is up there too, just to get those icons out of the way. But they play a factor because these are so powerful and so so often used, the stasis supers. It makes everything else get overshadowed by performance. So Striker, Arcstrider, I'm going to put Stormcaller down here. Now, if before Stasis, this is Stormcaller. Stormcaller was king. It lasted the longest. It could be close range, long range, chain multiple enemies, great movement. If I said it lasted the longest, I misspoke. It lasted a very long time. It was very powerful. There wasn't a super in the game that shut me down consistently when I ran Stormcaller. Now that's from my own personal experience. There were very few supers that shut me down. Now all it takes is a shuriken and I'm dead. And back in the day, a smoke nade would have did it to me. From Night Stalker, which was the only super that was ran when it came to Void Hunters. So if I get slowed, I can't blink, I can't move. If they get out of my range, it's over. That's it. That's a wrap for me. I'm dead. I would say Striker and Arcstrider. And I could even, there's an argument I could even put Stormcaller down here. Now, as long as I don't get slowed by anything, which is very, very, very rare, I could put Stormcaller up here. But, we'll put it, this is going to be biased. We're going to put it at C because I love it so much. Now, Arcstrider and Striker, because they can be slowed but also melee, I don't know if that takes their melee ability out. Again, I haven't seen Arcstriders and Strikers for a long time. So some of these tier lists is going to be based on, a little bit before Stasis, and I haven't really messed with it. But I don't see a lot of Arcstriders. I don't see a lot of Strikers when it comes down to Trials itself. Now, Striker used to be very high up there as far as performance went. Arcstrider was another one that was relatively high up there only because of the middle tree. The bottom and top tree used to be ran too, but a lot of people didn't care for it too much. So when middle tree Arcstrider came out, that was the thing. Now, you could argue that middle tree Arcstrider itself could go to B, and you could reflect the Hunter super and part of the Warlock super. There is no reflecting Behemoth, right? And then there's a lot of things you can't reflect, like Duskfield nades, so on and so forth. So we're going to go ahead and put them to the side for now. And we're going to say Striker and Arcstrider are kind of here at the bottom. Now, keep that in mind. Shadebender can kill you from range. This can kill you up close and very easily. And the Hunter can freeze and kill you from range. So once again, the 3 stasis supers, pretend there's a third one, are very powerful. I would say almost too powerful. Now, we're going to go ahead, boom. We're going to go ahead and put Chaos Reach at A. Now, I'm not going to put it at S because I think it's over, what's the word? It's, I can't think of the word, but we're going to put it at A. Now, you can see multiple Chaos Reaches. Heck, you could see a Chaos Reach per round, every single round of Trials. Now, I know some people are out there, Trials needs to be shorter in rounds. Why? Because Chaos Reach? No, they just need to tune Chaos Reach a little bit. And I don't know exactly what they need to do, but before it was too weak and a lot of people didn't run it. Now it's too powerful because you can get it multiple times. It has a wide splash radius, which is, I think if they mess with that, it's not going to be as good. So, you know, we got to kind of deal with it. I'm not sure what they should do, but to nerf the Trials rounds, if people are saying Trials rounds are too long because people are getting too many supers, especially Chaos Reach, I'm not sure that's the answer to the problem. All right, but we're going to put Chaos Reach. We're going to put it at A for now. You see a lot of it when it comes to Warlocks. Again, you get a super every single round. It's very powerful. It can shoot around objects. Apparently, it can shoot through very thin structures and walls in the game. I was actually shot through something this weekend, and I put 5 feet between me and it somehow just like splashed around me. And I thought I put myself in a very good position to make sure the splash didn't get me, but it did. So, we're going to go ahead and put it at A. Next up, we're going to go ahead and put the tether up at, I want to put it at A, and I think I will. Now, keep in mind that all supers can be popped to break out of freezing. And the ones that come to mind the most are the Warlock super and the Hunter super, where you pop to break out of freezing. Now, the Behemoth, you can pop and break out of freezing, but he could probably refreeze you before you really before you really become a threat, to be honest. But we're going to put the tether up here. A little bit biased, I know, but that's because of bottom tree tether. Now, top tree tether can do the same, but if I were to split both of the tethers, quiver and tether, I'd probably put tether down here in C, and I'd put quiver in A or B. But for now, we're going to put it in A, right? There's nothing in B because I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to put there. But we're going to put the tether in A only because the quiver, the bottom tree, you can shoot it multiple times, you can get frozen, and your duration of the super continues to go, so you can continue popping quiver and breaking out of ice. Now, the problem with tether is I also want to put it at B because if it's a super versus super, and I've shot behemoths straight in the face, and they've popped their super. This is how stupid this is right now. And I don't think it has to do with Behemoth. I think the tether just needs a buff again. Like just both of them, right? The tether bullets themselves. I've shot a Behemoth straight in the face. Then it proceeded to pop its super, freeze me, punch me into a wall, and then there was one instance where it didn't lose a super, and I made a direct impact on him, and I was point blank, so I didn't miss. And, guess what? It was on Exodus Blue the last time it showed up. Not this last weekend, but the last time. And then I've had Behemoths, do the same thing. I've tethered them. They just kind of just fly away from the tethers, right? Now, the quiver is smaller reach, so the longer one might reach them. Now, I've had plenty of tethers catch them, too, and I've been able to lock down areas. But, again, they don't last as long. But the super can't. I can make the super last as long as I need it to, until it runs out. So I can kind of pace my shots. I can either fire 6 bullets quickly, or I can fire 1 or 2, lock down an area depending on the map, and then slowly move away and lock down. So I have beaten and outlasted my fair share of behemoths, right? Did I even spell behemoth right? Oh well, that's what it is. So I'm gonna put tether at A. Now maybe I should have split quiver because I wouldn't put regular tether here. So this is quiver. The other tether, B, maybe C. It lasts a lot longer, but I haven't used it in a while, so I could probably see it at C with the rest. Thunder Crash, all right? Well, we're going to put the well up here. The well, Um, Goodbye. Uh, you know what? If there was another tier, I would put the well down here, but the well, it's just gonna go right to D. You pop your well, and what? It's a big fat target to get frozen in. I don't think we have to say anything else about that. So I would say the well is strictly popped for support. And when I say strictly popped for support, you're popping your well when there are no other supers in play on the enemy team. There are 0 supers that can come kill you, right? Especially stasis. And even then, I'm not sure I would use it if they had stasis abilities, because you could get caught and still frozen and killed in your well. Last I checked. Now, if the well negated slow, right, and you could not be frozen while in the well, now we have a whole different story. That would be very powerful. That would be interesting to see. We're going to go ahead and put bubble up here, because now that I think about bubble, it is very powerful. B, I would say anything below B is probably something you're not going to want to run too often. But we have bubble Titan. Now, I put it at B because you can get ice in the bubble and kill people. But if you cannot get ice in the bubble will survive the Hunter Super, because I've used it. It'll survive Shade Benders. It'll survive actually 2 Hunter Supers, right? And a Shade Bender. Like, the bubble will last longer than that. So Behemoth can go in there and wreck your world, and that's a wrap for you. So good luck on those suppressor nades. But it's kind of a high B. I could almost see it at A, but we're just going to put it at B only because ice can get in that bubble. And the difference between the well and the bubble is, well, the bubble has a barrier around it. The well is just, hey, stand in the circle, nobody cross the circle. Hey, you're crossing the circle. And then they just throw things in the circle instead, right? So nobody has to cross. You have to go into the bubble. You have to cross that line. You want to dance with the bubble Titan. You got to get up in there. We're going to see a lot in B tier, to be honest. So we're going to go ahead and throw Nova Bomb into B tier. Now, the bottom and top tree, Nova Bomb, Slovo Bomb, and Nova Bomb, we're just going to keep as one. A lot of one-and-done supers will be in B just because you can pop it and kill things. But you can also be frozen out of your super. So Thunder Crash, I want to put a B, but at the same time, I could see it going to C. Now, I have to laugh at this. We're going to try and wrap this up real quick. I've frozen Thunder Crashes, and I think it takes their super away. It's like a one and done. You pop it, you get frozen during Thunder Crash. There goes all of your Thunder Crash. I'm almost certain I've done that multiple times. So the only reason I would put it at C as a one and done super is because once you get frozen, your Thunder Crash is gone. Now, there are other supers that do that. Dawn Blade, we're going to put it at A, and we're going to put it at only at A. We're not going to put it at S. Why? Because even before Stasis, there was a lot of people that played Dawnblade for Icarus Dash, but they were very, very bad with the super. And I would ask numerous people, hey, why do you play Dawnblade? Because I like Icarus Dash. I'm like, but you're not getting any kills with the super. I know. So, sometimes I don't allow people to play supers or subclasses if they're really bad with the super, because a lot of the games come down to supers, and it's a recommendation. If you're not good with the super, you're going to be a bigger hindrance to the team. One, if you never get your super. Two, when you get it, you just flop with it, because a lot of games will come down to supers. So if you're not amazing with some subclasses like Dawnblade or Gunslinger, you probably don't want to run them, right? So, but strictly speaking off super, we're going to put Dawnblade at A. Once you can get into the air, you are a very formidable target against Behemoth for sure. At least you're not going to, you don't have to be caught on the ground, but he can fly up and catch you. Shade Bender would probably be your biggest fear, but you could dodge those orbs easily. And then the Hunter Super, I would say, has a tougher time out of all three to catch you depending on the map. I could argue that this could be B only because there's a lot of garbage maps, but most of the people that I see on Dawnblade right now, I would say play it very well and can work with enclosed spaces. So we'll say for now, Dawnblade is A, but the argument can be because the Trials maps can be very small and enclosed, you could put it at B as well. So we're going to drop it at A for now. Burning Maul. I haven't seen a Burning Maul in a long time. It has range. You could get up close with it, but I wouldn't recommend it. Now, if you were to fight any one of these 3 supers, the Burning Maul has very little mobility to get out of areas. I could probably see the Burning Maul being another D rank. You guys out there playing Burning Maul, you want to say it's C, B, S, A, S, or above? Be my guest. But we're going to drop this bad boy right here. We're going to put hammers at... I kind of want to put hammers at C, but we're going to put hammers at B. Now, the reason I'm putting hammers at B is because you do get range with these, so you can jetpack and throw hammers. Now, I haven't seen any hammers try and snipe behemoths on the ground or shade benders out of the sky or anything like that. And the greatest thing against the Hunter Super is if you're moving and you're in your super already, you're probably the hardest target to deal with when it comes to Hunter Supers, because the tornado has to be thrown onto you, and by the time it activates, if you're lucky, you're already moving to another location, and you still have your super, and you can throw objects at them. So the hammers, I would say, is pretty dang good. I have Golden Gun and Gunslinger. This was supposed to be Blade Barrage, and we're going to go ahead and put Blade Barrage. I'm going to say B. Now, I'm not sure if it gets... Again, I'm not 100% if Thunder Crash, once you freeze them during Thunder Crash, their super is over. I don't know if I would consider it a roaming super or not. It's a one-and-done super, but it does roam. But I'm pretty sure I've frozen Thunder Crashes and that it just takes their super away, like during their super. So, pretend this is... Here, we'll put Golden Gun here. Gunslinger, pretend this is Blade Barrage. We're going to put Blade Barrage up here. It's a one-and-done super. And, you know, as you see, Nova Bomb is one-and-done. Thunder Crash is probably the only one-and-done we don't have up there as of right now. But we're going to say Blade Barrage is at B. Hyper Armor. I think you could probably kill things, you know, as long as you hit them. Behemoth is still really tough to hit. The Shadebender is probably the easiest next to the Hunter to hit, just because the Shadebender, they have no mobility, right? And this tier list isn't final. When we get to the top 3, we're going to discuss exactly where I think they stand. Nova Warp, I've seen plenty of good Nova Warps out there. They're still really well. He has a lot of mobility. He has range. He has power. He can get in and out. He can teleport. One thing that the, you know, Stormcaller can't do, he can blink, but he can't teleport. Now, I don't know how well the shift works in Nova Warp when he's slowed, but it's already hard to play against, and you can blink as your mobility, so you're already harder to hit to slow. So I would probably put Nova Warp up at A. I don't see often a lot of them. You could also argue at B, but I would say I've seen more Nova Warps play better than others. So this is going to be an A tier super. We're down to Sentinel and Spectral Blades. Now, Sentinel, I haven't seen too much or too often. I'm not sure. This is a question mark for me because I haven't. I'm probably going to play it today just because now I'm curious, because I used to love Middle Tree Sentinel, and we put all 3. We didn't put all 3 Sentinels together. Now, the Bubble could be played as a Sentinel, but I would say the Bubble alone is B. The Sentinel, because I'm not sure, and I'm pretty sure you block everything that's, you know, you block shurikens, you block the Warlock melee, if the Hunter super hits you, you block that, everything but the Behemoth super. So there are some things that would freeze you, I think, outright, but I'm not 100%. So we're gonna questionably, respectably, because I'm unsure, and I apologize for the lack of information and knowledge on this, and we're gonna 30 minutes, we're gonna end this tier list right here in just a moment. We're going to put it at B because I think it could hold its own, but it's got to get really close. It's going to be dangerous to go against a Behemoth, the Shadebender. At any moment, you have to stop blocking to attack. So the Behemoth could catch you R2, I think, under your block. My guess would be the ice goes under your block and freezes you from behind somehow, or under your shield, freezes you from behind. Shadebender, once you let go of the block, any one of the orbs could catch you. And then the Hunter one is... if the Hunter super like lands to your side, I think it's gonna freeze you. I don't know how it's gonna activate if it hits your shield. The tornado is also gonna catch you, but you can block and move. When do you find the time to attack is the question. Never, ever. It would be down here, right? Can you outlast the other supers? Everything but Behemoth. So we could put it at C, but we'll put it at B because it's the question mark. We'll give it a pass. And I'm gonna play with this today after this video and when I get online. Spectra Blades. Now, Spectra Blades used to be a thorn in everyone's side that wasn't a Spectra Blade at the time of Spectra Blade supering. So it's pretty powerful still. It can go invisible. You have to find them to see them. It can last quite a long time. Because of its invisibility, I want to put it at B, where it can respectably stay there at B, because it can go invisible and you can't freeze what you can't see. And if you know me, I run invisible. I run bottom tree tether more often than anything else anymore, which is sad. As much as, and I have fun with stasis, right? I have fun playing against stasis, but this, I can get frozen while being invisible, but I have an advantage of being invisible. So I think Spectra Blade does as well. It is a roaming super. I think it's another super that if you freeze, it can keep going. So I could argue that it could be up at A because it's not going to end its super like it would Thunder Crash. So you could argue A or B. I see less Spectral Blades, and they can still close the distance pretty well. So we're gonna put a B. We're gonna say high B. Now we have the Behemoth, the Shadebender, and the Hunter Super. I can't even think of what it's called right now. What's it called? The Revenant. All right. Yeah, I had that page. This is where I got the icons. Shout out to Destiny 2 Wiki. Thank you. Now, when it comes to these three supers, they're very powerful, with the Warlock being the worst out of them because they have no mobility. They're very slow. The orbs that track from them, and I've used this numerous times, the orbs that track from them kind of don't track very well. I've missed people up close more often than I miss people far away, and up close is where it really matters. Now, I wish I could hold down R2 and spray like a mist that slows them, and then release it, press R2, throw an orb, or just outright freeze them and then switch to R1. That way I have a close range combat. That would be something to consider. Or just give me back the damage that I do with R1 to enemies. That's fine too. You could also give me a teleport like the Nova Warp has. Not like Stormcaller. We need it to actually work. But I could be slowed on this, and I do have range to kind of combat. I am floating in the air, so I don't have to worry about descending too soon. It's just when it comes to these three, when it comes between the three stasis supers, and it's sad that I can't put any other super up here at S in my own personal reason. Some people could argue Chaos Reach because you see it so much and it's so powerful. Nah, no thanks. I could also argue that Shadebender's down here because it doesn't have a lot of movement. It can get shut down easier than other supers, and it's hard to keep up with enemies. I could easily put this at a high A, and I almost want to. Behemoth and the Hunter one. The Hunter one is a one and done, but it is very powerful and devastating. The Behemoth, because it lasts so long, I should have added an S plus because it's at S plus. Remember, the Hunter super is gonna be right here where it respectively should be, and the Warlock super. Man, I can't give it in good conscience. I can't give it an S. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up here, guys. Let me know what you think about the tier list. This is my tier list. This is where I think everything kind of lands. Remember, this Gunslinger is Blade Barrage. This is actually Golden Gun, Well, and Burning Maul at the bottom. Again, I could almost easily put Stormcaller down here. My baby. Heck, I could put Striker and Arcstrider. I could see myself putting Striker down there, but we're gonna put him up there just because I haven't seen him too often. This could reflect some stuff, and this, well, as long as you don't get frozen, you're gonna kill something. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. We'll see you soon. Catch me over on Twitch. Link in the description below. All that good stuff. Follow me on Twitter. Blah 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 blah. Thumb up, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. Sorry for the delay on the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.